All right, so our next speaker here is Alvaro, who is is a research engineer with Status and is also affiliated with the DAppNode network. And he's MEV Rewards and smoothing them as a solo staker.
Thank you. So yeah, my name is Alvaro, and I'm here today to talk about how to smooth your MEV rewards as a solo staker. So we have a problem here. A solo staker, which is defined as a person or entity that runs Ethereum validator, that runs few Ethereum validators, let's say one, will only propose an average of 3 blocks a year. This is calculated with 880,000 validators. As some of you may know, the execution rewards have a huge variance. So some blocks may have a huge reward, and other blocks may have a very small reward. So this makes the APR, the return of investment in percent a year, not predictable, right? It's based pure on pure luck. So yeah, we can't rely on luck. So let's say that we have Paco and Manolo. Both of them are solo stakers. They run a DAppNode from their home, and they only have one validator. We have Paco that is lucky and proposes 3 blocks in a given year that, as you can see, the reward is high, right? But then we have Manolo that proposes 3 blocks with a very small reward. This makes Paco happy and Manolo unhappy. The problem here is that beforehand, a priori, you don't know if you are going to be Paco or Manolo, right? And this is a huge issue because we can't have solo stakers depending on luck. We have a couple of examples here. On the left side, we have a block with 200 ETH of reward. And on the right side, we have a block with 0.02 cents, right? Which is nothing. So you don't want to be the guy proposing 3 blocks like the one in the right a year. So luckily, we have a solution, and it's the MEV smoothing pool, aka Smooth, built by DAppNode that I have helped developing. Lansky from DAppNode will, after me, say a few words about the project. And there may be, or not, be an alpha leak by the end of this talk, so feel free to stay. So how does it work? Long story short, solo stakers send their rewards to a common pool, aka smart contract, and these rewards are divided or split equally between or among all participants. So yeah, basically the execution rewards are smoothed. But how does it work? So I am here to explain you the technical details on how this project works. It has mainly 3 components. We have the Oracle, we have a contract, and we have a front end. The Oracle is I would say, the most complex part. It does off-chain calculations of the rewards and settles everything on-chain, updating a Merkle root in the contract. And this Merkle root is like a summary of all the balances of all the individual validators. Of course, it uses a consensus and an execution client. So you can see an example here. We have Paco, we have Manolo, and we have Fulgencio, 3 solo stakers. And they propose blocks, sending the reward into the pool or the contract. Then on the other hand, we have the Oracle, which monitors the contract and calculates the rewards that belong to each staker. Then, every now and then, this Oracle settles everything on-chain with updating a Merkle root in the contract, and then each solo staker can, submitting the Merkle proofs, they can claim their share of their rewards. You can see Paco claims, Manolo claims, and Fulgencio claims, and everyone is happy. We have some penalizations. If you, for example, miss 1 block, you will get a warning. It's like a yellow flag in football. We also have a red flag, which means that you have missed 2 blocks in a row. This will mean that you are not eligible for rewards. The moment that you propose a block that is valid, then your state is reset, and you are back again being eligible for rewards. And then we have one last penalization that is like some kind of slashing, that if you propose a block with a wrong fee recipient, then you will be banned from the smoothing pool forever. So don't be that guy. The Oracle has a feature that it runs with a quorum, a very simple consensus of n out of m. So all the oracles are running and calculating the state, and all of them update the Merkle root on chain. And if n out of m agree on the same root, this root will be considered like finalized, and we will consider it valid. This oracle is run by whitelisted entities, we still don't know how many we will have. And yeah, by now this Merkle root is updated every 4 days, which is quite frequent. So every 4 days, you will be able to see your rewards, and you will be able to claim them with their interface that I will show later. On the other hand, we have the contract, quite simple. This contract is the address that receives the rewards. So you should select this address as the fee recipient of your validator. It also handles the subscriptions. So whenever you want to join the pool, you have to subscribe. The smart contract handles this. Then also the unsubscriptions when you want to leave. And then the claims. If you submit a valid Merkle proof with a valid address, then you will be able to claim your share of your rewards. And the last but not least, we have the front end. As you can see, it's quite simple. If you connect to this front end with your MetaMask wallet, you will see under My Validators all your validators, and you will be able to subscribe or unsubscribe them from this interface. As simple as two clicks. Connect wallet and subscribe. Then on the right side, you can see the claim all. With this button, you can claim your share of the rewards. And then on the top, we have some metrics of the validators and yes, more metrics. So you may say, okay, this looks interesting. How can I join? So the requirements are quite low. You only need an active validator in Ethereum mainnet. You have to deposit some collateral, which is $20, which is nothing. And you have to change your fee recipient to the address of the smoothing pool. You also need non-BLS withdrawal credentials. And it's important to note that there are two ways of subscribing. It could be a manual subscription or an automatic subscription. So this means that manual is when you deposit collateral and you express your intention to subscribe, and you will be getting rewards from t = 0. Then we have the automatic subscription that if any validator sends the rewards to this address, we will consider this validator as subscribed, no matter if this validator has deposited the collateral. This is in my opinion, it's a bit worse because with the manual subscription, you start getting rewards from t = 0, but with the automatic subscription, we won't consider you subscribed until you propose the first block. And this can take a few months, weeks, or even seconds, depending on how lucky you are. The good part of this is that you can leave at any time the pool. And okay, you may ask, how do we deal with bad actors, right? Because I can see people there for sure thinking about how to cheat the system, right? So first of all, we have to define what is a bad actor. So we define as bad actor validators with a wrong fee recipient or lazy validator, that maybe they have the correct fee recipient, but they are not performing properly, meaning that they are missing blocks. So we fix this by different ways. First of all, the collateral is lost. This collateral that I told you before of $20 is lost if you set a wrong fee recipient. So if you propose a block, if you are subscribed and you propose a block with the wrong fee recipient, your collateral is taken and then you are banned from the pool. The good news is that the first block that you propose that is correct, we will give you back the collateral. We don't want your money. This is just a decentralized project, open source, blah, blah. Also, you can't claim until the first block is proposed. This is very important because otherwise people would be subscribing into the pool, and without proposing any blocks, they would be getting rewards. And they don't deserve that, of course. We split the rewards into accumulated, that are the rewards that belong to you, but you can't claim yet. And then we have the claimable rewards, which are the rewards that you can claim at any time. Every block you propose, you convert your accumulated rewards into claimable, and you can claim them in the interface that you have seen before. And yeah, also we deal with bad actors with different penalties, the yellow flag, the red flag, and the ban that we have explained before. And yeah, now we have Lansky from DAppNode that will be explaining a bit more about the smoothing pool. So give him a round of applause.
All right, thank you, Alvaro. This wouldn't have been possible without Alvaro dedicating a lot of his time on setting up all of the edge cases, what could go wrong, setting up all the Oracle code. Huge props to Jesus from the ZK Polygon, ZK VM from Polygon for taking care of most of the smart contracts. And yeah, this has been like, it's not only a DAppNode effort, it's been an effort from a lot of people that were convinced by the idea that users or solo stakers should be at par with centralized pools or even pools of other kinds. Because yeah, other side. Yeah, here. Pools like Lido or Rocket Pool or, well, Rocket Pool actually has it thanks to the smoothing pool. And actually, here's my other thanks that I have to say. All of this idea of the smoothing pool for solo stakers came because of Ken. And Ken's talk at Bogota, at DevCon, where we were like, okay, that's fantastic, the work that they've done on the Rocket Pool, smoothing pools. Now, how can we translate, how can we bring this to solo stakers to put them at par with smoothing pools? So big round of applause for Ken and the rocket scientists. And thank you, Ken, because that you were the spark of this. So yeah, as we said, pools have natural smoothing. Big centralized services, Kraken, centralized exchanges, they act as natural smoothing pools. And as Lefteris just mentioned in the talk before, lottery blocks sometimes, well, somehow they always end up in the hands of Lido, right? So we can see that MEV is a sort of centralizing force, meaning that if you are a staker that stakes with one of these pools, with Lido or a centralized exchange like Kraken, because of this effect of the smoothing, it could be that you're actually, even though you get a fee that they take, you would actually end up with a higher reward because of this smoothing effect that you as a solo, if you're Paco or Manolo, if you're Manolo, you're screwed. Like, you're better off. And there's no way of knowing this. So this is a huge disincentive for solo stakers to even jump into doing something like this, because, you know, I am better off. I am a lot safer to have like a regular reward if I stake with a pool like Lido or like any other pool, and I am actually quite screwed if I happen to be in the case of Manolo. So how do we fight back? How do we bring solo stakers for sure at the same level as these pools? And well, the answer is this whole presentation, and the alpha leak here is that today at 3 a.m. in the morning, Edu, Jesus, Alvaro deployed in mainnet. And why is this alpha leak? Thank you. So this is ready and available. The front end is not ready, will be ready at the end of the day. And why is this alpha leak? This is an alpha leak because this is a soft launch. We haven't officially launched, but you can already start subscribing your validators there. And this is an alpha leak because you might have something to gain. So there's, well, that's a summary. So what here, you can see that there's a button that says donate up there. And here what we're trying to do is we're trying to allow other parties to incentivize solo stakers. What does this mean? It means that people can donate to the MEV smoothing pool contract directly. They can send ETH directly to the MEV smoothing pool contract and effectively incentivize every single solo staker that is participating in the smoothing pool. That means that you can single-handedly, an entity that wants to fund public goods and they want to fund validators directly, they can go to the smoothing pool and directly fund every single solo staker that is participating in the smoothing pool. So it's important here because that's DAppNode branding and this sort of stuff, but and there's going to be really easy ways of participating from DAppNode itself. If you're using DAppNode as your staking machine, you'll be able to just click a button and subscribe to the pool if you want. It's obviously opt-in and open source and of course. But solo stakers, they need only to go to smooth.dappnode.io and participate and sign up. They just need to change their fee recipient address into the MEV smoothing pool address, and they will start participating as well. And again, why was I saying alpha leak? Because I have good news for you if you're solo stakers. We passed an audit contest with flying colors. There was barely anything worth mentioning that was dangerous or that was not just stellar. So the budget that we had decided, if the authorities, if the tax authorities, once the tax authorities clear this budget, so we're going to be dedicating part of this to do exactly this, to incentivize solo stakers at large, and we're going to be donating to the pool. And if you are one of the first to subscribe in the pool, that means that you'll basically have part of this revenue that will come to your validator straight up, nothing to do. It's not going to be a lottery block. You're just going to get that lottery for yourself. So that is probably going to happen before we do the main launch next week. So as soon, if you see me around, find me. It's kind of sort of like a shady alpha. But find me and I'll let you know when the smooth.dappnode.io is pointed to the right smart contract and you can subscribe yourself and save yourself a lot of variance. Last summary, stop depending on luck. The luck factor sucks. You propose only on average 3.4 blocks and you don't know when that's going to be and if it's going to be 3. You could propose less. Number 2, do not miss high fees season. It is terrible when you propose a block and this block happens to be in a time where Ethereum is dead. There's no traffic, there's no blocks, and then it's equally disastrous when you're seeing that high fees everywhere, everybody's getting rich blocks with lots of ETH, and then your DAppNode is, or your solo staker, your validator is not proposing anything. Stop missing high season, subscribe to a smoothing pool, and this problem is solved. And finally, have exposure to MEV lottery blocks. You yourself, with 3 blocks a year, very rarely will gain this. Stop not having exposure to these lottery blocks or having little exposure and join a smoothing pool and gain exposure to all of these lottery blocks with huge rewards. That's all for me. Thank you, Alvaro, again, for doing this possible.
Thank you. Thank you both. We just have a little bit of time for a few questions there. Before we begin, I should certainly give a lot of credit to Joe Klampus in the Rocket Pool community. He did a lot of the initial design work on its smoothing pool. I just happened to do a little bit of maths on the probability for it and showed the incentive for joining a smoothing pool and presented that, but I'm very excited to see this here. One question I did have before we go to the first question in the audience is, let me just make certain I understand this right. You do not have to be running a DAppNode hardware to join the DAppNode smoothing pool, is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. The only thing that you need is to that, as Alvaro explained, there's two ways of subscribing. There's an automatic subscription that will happen when you automatically send your execution layer rewards to the pool. You'll be automatically subscribed. But you can start earning or accumulating rewards from today if you sign up in and you make this deposit of $20. Then you'll start accumulating rewards from now as a solo staker. And the only thing you need to do is make sure that your fee recipient address is set to the pool.
Cool. Thanks, Lansky. I was curious if you could shed a little light on which relayers are used behind the scenes and if there's any control from the folks who are participating.
Right, so we're not in control of we don't want to have any opinion on what relayers people use on their setups. You can choose any relayer, and there's a check when you're subscribing that will check that you're in fact subscribed to a relayer. But that's your choice. If you want to be compliant, OFAC compliant, not OFAC compliant, that's absolutely your choice, and we do not enforce any particular relays.
All right, any other questions from the audience here? Okay, Colfax, do we know any of the details about lunch?
Yes, we do. Thank you, guys.